Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Hujambo msikilizaji wetu, hii ni Radio Fadhila ikikutangazia kutoka Masasi, Tanzania. Tunakuletea kipindi cha Freedom Pioneers of Africa. Kukuletea hayo utakuwa na mimi mtangazaji wako Edwin Pokashe. Matangazo yetu haya yatakujia kwa lugha mbili, ya Kiingereza na Kiswahili.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa. Episode ya 6, tunakutana na Jolenta Joseph Sanavita. Huu ni mfululizo wa utangulizi wa uundaji mabadiliko wa jumuiya ya ndani kukutana na muunganisho wa kimataifa ili kuona jinsi inavyoweza kubadilisha mawazo makubwa na fursa nzuri. Mustakabali wa Afrika mara nyingi huzingatiwa katika mawazo ya ajabu na ya kukatisha tamaa. Bado Mwafrika hadi siku amejaa uwezo wa kiuchumi na ubunifu wa maendeleo. Msingi wa Newman wa uhuru ni taasisi huria inayounga mkono uvumbuzi na sera zingine za kiliberali barani Afrika na kote ulimwenguni. Pamoja na kipindi cha redio, wanalenga kuhamasisha vijana kuchukua hatamu na kuanza kufikiria ni kwa jinsi gani wao wanaweza kutumia ari yao ya ujasiriamali kuleta mabadiliko ya nafasi katika jamii zao na nje ya hapo. Wapate kwenye mitandao ya kijamii Frederick Newman Foundation Africa.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Licha ya kupiga hatua katika kupambana na utapiamlo, muongo mmoja uliopita, Tanzania bado inatatizika kupambana na utapiamlo wa muda mrefu unaoathiri 34% ya watoto chini ya muongo uliopita. Tanzania ni miongoni mwa nchi zenye maendeleo duni na zenye upungufu wa chakula kwenye sayari hii. Kwa mujibu wa shirika la Umoja wa Mataifa la mpango wa chakula duniani, zaidi ya 40% ya watu wa Tanzania wanaishi katika mikoa ambayo uhaba wa chakula ni wa kawaida. Sanavita anawezaje kukua?
My inspiration about Sanavita is tackling malnutrition through a cost-effective ways and reaching out the most vulnerable communities who are in the villages. My name is Jolenta Joseph from Morogoro, Tanzania. I'm Freedom Pioneer of Africa.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
When I was young, my parents are peasants doing agriculture for quite long, and we have been involved while we are young because our father used to tell us, if you want to go to higher education, we need to do agriculture so that you get school fees and all what you want. Taking that into my mind that agriculture is the backbone of the family is what took us to the school. So I have been passionate about it, and as it is source of food, it's source of income. After my university, I did Bachelor of Science in Human Nutrition. I have been working with some of the NGOs, and is where I just realized that there are high rates of malnutrition in the rural areas, in the local communities. So as a nutritionist, I thought the way that can help these people is using staple crops, because 60% of them, they are consuming as staple crops. So I started thinking which staple crops that are improved and can reach out this vulnerable community. So is where I start thinking of biofortified crops in Tanzania, which are orange-flavored sweet potatoes, provitamin A maize, as well as high iron and zinc beans. Sanavita, we are not doing breeding. So what we are actually doing, we are taking the released varieties from the research institute, and then we just take to the farmers depending on what varieties we need. So you usually start with idea, what you want to do. Do I want this product to be rich in maybe protein, iron, zinc, vitamin A? After having it in your mind, you start doing it, and then you produce first batch, make it a porridge-like, and then you make people test it. You get the feedback. After getting the feedback, you go back and then improve it in terms of taste, color, in terms of smell and all those. And then after having a final product is where I usually go to the lab and then do the test to know how much protein, how much vitamins, and whatever I intended to have it in the product. And then if from the lab I confirm that everything is okay, then product is ready to go to the market after having the design and the package of that product. And then if you receive the lab test, how it looks like, and then you go and improve it, and then you go back. It's a process. It's something that it takes some time. Sometimes it can take up to 3 months, 6 months. It depends what kind of product and who are you targeting. In 5 years, I will see like reaching out the whole country. Currently 3 regions, but in 5 years, I feel like I will be feeding all supermarkets across the country. And how is that possible? In 5 years, I think I will have my own big premise, having my own buildings, solar dryers, parking room, and everything. Because currently we have already raised some of the money to have our own machines and the like. So we are just missing a solar dryer and buildings. So in 5 years, I think we will be in our own production site, and that will help us to have to reach out more in the country and also export to some of the areas. So in 5 years, I think our future is bright, and we see that we will reach to that point.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Nini maoni yako kuhusu kuwawezesha wanawake katika biashara hii? Ikiwa ungeunda njia ya kulisha jamii yako, ungefanya nini? Kuna mapungufu gani ya ubunifu katika jamii yako? Unaweza kufikiria baadhi ya watu hufikiria kwamba jamii yako ina mahitaji ambayo inapaswa kuvumbuliwa ili kusaidia tatizo katika jumuiya yako. Tuambie unafikiria nini, una maoni gani kuhusu Jolendo Sprundet ni suluhu kwa jumuiya yake. Kwa kushiriki majadiliano haya unaweza kujinyakulia kitita cha randi 100 za Afrika Kusini sawa na shilingi 145 za Kitanzania. Iwapo utaweza kushiriki katika majadiliano haya ya moja kwa moja. Tumeanzisha mashauriano ya Jolento na Sanavita na kiunganishi chetu cha kimataifa Bianca Pretorius, mkufunzi wetu wa kuanzisha mkazi wa kutoa maarifa kuhusu mambo yote ya teknolojia ya dijitali. Hebu tuone kile ambacho Bianca anaweza kufanya ili kumwelekeza Jolenta na Sanavita kwenye mafanikio ya kimataifa. Tutasikia kutoka kwa mwanzilishi ambaye ana ari ya kushughulikia utapiamlo nchini Tanzania kwa kuhakikisha kuwa bidhaa yake ni ya bei nafuu, ya gharama nafuu na endelevu, kuhamasisha wakulima wadogo na kuwawezesha wakulima wengi wa kike katika jamii yake.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Hello.
Hello, Jolenta. This is Bianca Pretorius speaking. I'm calling from Berlin, Germany. I've discovered your business and I really like what you're doing. So you take basically sweet potatoes and you solve the problem of malnutrition in Tanzania. How did you come up with this idea?
Currently, we are doing 2 lines of products. One is milling. Then we make products like a flour. We are baking flour from orange fresh sweet potatoes, mixing with the rice and pumpkin seeds. And we have another recipe for a thick porridge that is provitamin A maize and mixed with a bit of cassava. With the bakery products, currently we have a nice bites. This is made up from orange fresh sweet potatoes. We have biscuits made from orange fresh sweet potatoes, high iron and zinc beans, and cashew nuts. At least we wish this stunting kids, which is around 32%, we solve that problem, at least to reduce malnutrition, anemia, and vitamin A deficiency.
Wow. The reason why I was really inspired by your business is because from my perspective, you're solving a crisis that is just about to get bigger because of climate crisis, geopolitical challenges and wars. It's so important that humans get food and that the food is the quality that keeps them healthy. It must have been a challenge to get your first customers. Was it hard for people to adapt to eating the powder? How did they take it on board?
About 60% of the food we are consuming are being produced by smallholder farmers. and 60% of the foods we are consuming are staples. So all these are the staple crops. So for us, targeting smallholder farmers in terms of production was not big challenge, because most of the people were producing this as their food, but the issue, they were just producing the normal white sweet potatoes. And for the people in the peri-urban and in the urban areas, we are creating awareness so that we create the demand to the people, because these crops are a bit new to most of the customers, mainly in the rural areas. So we are doing awareness creation, focusing on the health benefits of these crops. After people testing our products, become much easier because everybody's referring to us so that we provide that product to the other people.
I mean, we are here to talk about entrepreneurship and to have people find out how Jolenta Joseph did her way to become that. You basically run a factory, you innovate the process of creating the food, and you're running awareness campaigns for changing people's mind about consuming specific foods. Those must have been covered with challenges. What are the ones that are still in front of you?
Market research is showing that the need is high, but our capacity to supply is becoming low. So we are looking forward to work with our partners so that we have our own factory. So we are currently looking forward to fundraise to make sure that in 3 years, we have our own production site.
Jolenta, so interesting to talk to an entrepreneur like you. I guess there's plenty of entrepreneurs to be that listening today and that might think about their own ideas. So here are the 3 takeaways that we might want to give them. So first, as an entrepreneur, you find yourself often waiting for investment to come, for capital to pump up the resources. Try to open your mind on in what forms those capital comes, because sometimes for a startup, the capital comes in form of relationship as a currency. The second takeaway is, the innovation that you're creating, you're basically food innovation. So you're a nutritionist at heart, and you're changing and improving the nutritions of food at a scale. So this is a kind of innovation that needs to be communicated. And so half of your product is also the brand story. And so that people understand why this product is different and why these cookies, biscuits, powders are better. And maybe a last point is that whenever somebody creates innovation, if you also, the listeners of this show, if you have this idea to bring to the market that didn't exist before, your main challenge will be to tell people why they should change their habits of how they dealt with this issue before. So creating awareness is what Jolenta is already doing, and it's really big part of her business to tell the story and tell the reasons and communicate it over and over again, why this is needed and why this is better than beforehand. Jolenta, this is such an inspiring business. I think that you're onto something huge. Thank you so much for talking to me. It was a pleasure and an honor to speak to you.
Thank you so much. It was also nice discussions. Thank you so much for your time.
Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Nini maoni yako kuhusu ubunifu wa Jolenta? Ni uvumbuzi? Sanavita inawezaje kukua? Nini maoni yako kuhusu kuwawezesha wanawake katika biashara hii? Ikiwa ungeunda njia ya kulisha jamii yako, ungefanya nini? Kuna mapungufu gani ya ubunifu katika jamii yako? Basi tunakaribisha simu mbalimbali ili tuweze kuwa na majadiliano. Na hatimaye tutamtangaza mshindi. Basi kwa kujiunga katika majadiliano, unaweza kututumia ujumbe wako kwa namba ile ya 0622562231. Unaweza ukatutumia ule ujumbe wako 0622562231. Vile vile unaweza kutumia voice note, na katika shindano hilo unaweza kujipatia randi za Afrika Kusini 750 kila wiki ukituma voice note kwa WhatsApp 27729174356. Nitarudia 27729174356. Basi kwa wale mliojiunga nasi katika majadiliano haya, sisi kutoka Radio Fadhila hatuna la ziada, tukitumai kwamba mtaweza kuchangamkia fursa za kutuma voice note na kuweza kujishindia zawadi nono kama tulivyoeleza hapo mwanzo. Basi tukutane tena wiki ijayo. Ni mimi mtangazaji wako Nimpokasi, nikutakie tu usikizi mwema.
If you're a budding entrepreneur interested in innovation within the African context, or just curious about digital developments on the continent, then maybe you should join the conversation with Freedom Pioneers of Africa. Catch weekly radio broadcasts where local community changemakers meet with global connectors to see how we can shift Africa's big thoughts into great opportunities. Tune in weekly from the beginning of May to the end of July 2022 and learn to innovate, improve, and implement change in your community whilst becoming a freedom pioneer of Africa. This initiative is proudly brought to you by the Friedrich Naumann Foundation for Freedom in Africa.